Good morning. What a beautiful day we have again. Welcome to everyone, both here and in your homes. My name is Cora Dieter, and I want to thank Nan Urba for that beautiful music, and for Tim Martin, Ritchie. Am I saying that right? Ritchie Martin, I'm sorry. I just call him Tim. Anyway, for the sound effects he's taking care of. Our speaker this morning is Amy Gall Ritchie, Associate Pastor of the North Manchester Church of the Brethren. We won't be singing a hymn this morning, but she has something very special she's sharing with us at the end of her talk. Amy?
I'm so grateful to be with you once again in this space together. And don't worry, the something special at the end is not me singing a hymn by myself. But thank you for this opportunity to look out and see your faces in this holy space. Hear these words from Psalm 145. I will extol you, my God and King, and bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you and praise your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. His greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall laud your works to another and shall declare your mighty acts. On the glorious splendor of your majesty and on your wondrous works, I will meditate. The might of your awesome deeds shall be proclaimed, and I will declare your greatness. They shall celebrate the fame of your abundant goodness, and I shall sing aloud of your righteousness. The Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. The Lord is good to all, and his compassion is over all that he has made. All your works shall give thanks to you, O Lord, and all your faithful shall bless you. The Lord is faithful in all his words and gracious in all his deeds. The Lord upholds all who are falling and raises up all who are bowed down. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food in due season. You open your hand, satisfying the desire of every living thing. The Lord is just in all his ways and kind in all his doings. The Lord is near to all who call on him and to all who call on him in truth. He fulfills the desire of all who fear him. He also hears their cry and saves them. The Lord watches over all who love him, but all the wicked he will destroy. My mouth will speak the praise of the Lord, and all flesh will bless his holy name forever and ever. As I meditate on the day that I've lived, so every evening I enter a gratitude ritual that I've practiced now for years. I'm grateful for my little dogs beside me. I'm grateful for my sons and their beloveds and their animals. I'm grateful for my church. I'm grateful for so many things, and the list goes on and on. Often it is similar to the precious prayers of children who pray down a roster of people and pets they love, and maybe in their child wisdom, they include a bully that they fear. My gratitude practice picks up the pearls of the day, of my life, of what I see right there where I sleep. It is now an automatic response within me. It feels so good to slip into a comfy bed and nestle into the blankets, and I roll over to my right side, and my whole being just begins gratituding. Sometimes I just keep naming everything until I'm chuckling with mirth and a silly sense that I am simply grateful for it all. Gratitude is awash with nourishment for the soul. Theological and spiritual writer Diana Butler Bass, in her book Gratitude, says this about gratitude: it is an ethic. And by ethic, she means a framework of principles by which we live more fully in the world. Okay, but what if that little dog next to me has just chewed up a shoe? Or what if the results, any results, are not what we hoped for? Or what if our personal or financial investment in something was faulty and we walked away empty-handed? Gratitude? Even then? Butler Bass goes on to quote turn of the last century psychologist William James. All our life, so far as it has definite form, is but a mass of habits, practical, emotional, and intellectual, systematically organized for our weal or woe, one of my favorite phrases, and bearing us irresistibly toward our destiny. William James is recognizing that habits, and I would add that the habit of gratitude, do not guarantee an outcome of amazing and smooth sailing. They carry us in our weal and our woe, while these habits shape our future. So how do we cultivate the practice of gratitude? I am 100% positive that people have spoken from this pulpit into this chapel many, many times about gratitude practices. For me, it was a Lenten practice coupled with meditation, beginning with a settling in through gratitude. That roster of easy-to-reach things that I love began to be what I recited every day. Through Lent in 2018, the easy-to-reach things gave way to the harder-to-reach things, which is the process of a Lenten practice. From the easy gratitude of my little dog to the person who offended me, to the inhumanity of our elected leaders as their rhetoric becomes more and more dangerous and bizarre, to the difficult other, whoever they were that day. When we work with gratitude at the hard-to-reach things, we work toward a place of connection with God that is profound. We slowly move from being like tourists in gratitude land into well-planted practitioners. That place of gratitude is the presence of God. Diana Butler Bass highlights some intentional practices that work toward moving from a one-time thing into that permanent residence with God. Reflection through journaling. Focus on the gratitude poetics that break you open, that we sing in our hymns, or we hear from a poet, or any kind of writing that moves us and stirs us deeply. And there are the 5 steps of the classical Examen by Saint Benedict. And I will add, coming to the chapel, to worship, to praise, to tend the garden, to be with one another, to clean the basement floors, to enter into the language of faith, are these practices. Why would we do this? To create an ethic, a habit, a way of life that grounds us in something real that can counterbalance the hate, the hard-heartedness, the fear of our day. This is why we develop an intentional practice of gratitude. As we live our lives, circumstances change, and so must our habits and practices, what worked for me in 2018 will shift and has shifted to what is appropriate for today. Sometimes gratitude springs up within us unexpectedly from ordinary life. Many of you know that my backyard is an untold wealth of inspiration and connection with God, with the sacred presence. I follow the moon, the sun, the seasons from a red chair that sits by my clothesline and looks toward the back. I take my dogs out frequently. It's our contract with each other. They get me off the couch about every hour and I take them outside. It's a good mutuality. Because it is now a habit of gratitude, it is the easiest thing. We are in that season of what always seems like a hard tilt of the earth. We notice that at 6:30 a.m., it's already dark. When did that happen? I'm not even willing to let go of summer yet, and it's dark at 6:30. But we feel the autumn in the air. And so our habits of gratitude can walk with these changes of the sun rising and setting, the world tilting, and the seasons changing. I have an old fellow of a dog, Alfie, who is 19 years old, and he can't hear well, and he's mostly blind, and he romps around a little slower, and I see the arthritis in his joints, but he loves being outside for 10 minutes at a time. My younger dog expresses her gratitude by rolling over and rubbing her back in the grass the way dogs do, and often there's something smelly that she's rubbing herself into, and it brings her such joy. I can feel it in her just by watching her. It doesn't make me want to roll around on my back into stinky things, but I can feel the joy that she is fully into. I watch my ancient Alfie, as I like to call him. I watch him watch her, and he'll give a back roll a try. Something in him remembers when he could do this easily, when it was a habit. He isn't so successful at it now, so he leans into other methods of bodily gratitude. And isn't that the way of gratitude, of joy, of physically living within our giddy appreciation? Others see it. They may have to move past layers of grumpiness or habits of complaint, but they are watching because gratitude is contagious. It doesn't have to happen at bedtime or before meditation. In fact, when we practice this ethic, this habit of gratitude, a certain time and place each day, it begins to spill over into the hallways, to gazing out the window as we wait for something to begin and when we're lying still in bed. When we feel the pulse and flow of gratitude rush through us, we would do well to hang on to that feeling, connecting our minds to our body's experience so that we can recall with our minds to remember in the future what our bodies, with our bodies, to be able to cultivate being grateful in the presence of God in an ongoing way. Our gratitude practices are best entered without whitewashing the truth and pain and the shock of the world. These sharp moments provide a place of entrance into the presence of God that is woven into the very fabric of the dangerous, messy, hurting, confusing human experience. We should not dismiss the near-death situations because we are grateful that life prevailed, or that close call, that diagnosis, moving from one home to another. These are real life situations that impose real life bodily and mental and emotional reactions. After the flow of fear and shock and sorrow and other emotions, after they have moved through us, we can craft a space for gratitude to once again authentically come up from its steadfast place in its rightful time. And at the same time, we can hold the complexity of sorrow and gratitude at the same time. The presence of gratitude is only the good times, or only recognizing the good times and blessings ultimately is a shallow practice. It is easy to skim off the surface of gratitude when things are going well. It is another thing to create the deep caverns of gratitude during times of peril and pain and disappointment. Psalm 145 invites us to contemplate the completeness of gratitude that ends up in praise and presence of God. When we read it with its culminating comprehensiveness in mind, we will recognize that this act of praise can only come to be spoken because of all that has come before. Within our Psalms, Psalm 1 through Psalm 150, we find the fullness of the human condition. Maybe not in contemporary images or wording, but in the themes of being lost and being found, of delighting in nature, in hating our enemies, in the brilliance of love and life and the holy, in wishing death upon the most vulnerable, in acknowledging where God is and is not. There is only one psalm out of 150 that is without hope, Psalm 88. And there are times that we dare not move to hope or gratitude. Sometimes we have to simply be in the middle of the mess and the pain. Psalm 145 can only be spoken. The praise can only be lifted after acknowledging it all. It can be because it includes all of life, even the parts that do not feel like blessing and we cannot imagine being grateful for. This is the fullness of gratitude. Our gratitude practices are the means. They are the means to a wholeness, which is to connect with God at all times. To connect with our God who has finally crafted something of magnificence that includes everything. This psalm of praise at the end of all things mirrors the fullness of what gratitude can lead to. No exclusion, no exceptions, simply profound connection with the Creator, who is the all. For our prayer here at the end, we will listen to a recording of the choral piece from Psalm 145, "The eyes of all wait upon thee," arranged by Jean Berger. It holds the complexities of life in the expression of God's steadfast love and our gratitude. Listen for the harmonies and the dissonances, the chords that cause us discomfort, and then their release. This particular recording can be hard to understand the words, but listen to the fullness of it. and I hope that it is a blessing. We're grateful for it. We go into our days full of gratitude for all things, the depth and the highest heights. Go with the peace of Christ. Amen.